It's always good to come to Zach's house, and in the mail is always some bourbon. So it's always a good day when we get to review bourbon sent to us. So I'm excited.
I think what Dave's meaning is it's always a good day whenever he gets to drink bourbon at my house.
Yes.
But technically, this is your bourbon, too.
It is our bourbon.
Yeah.
So let's review it. Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to review 3 K. Luke bourbons that we're really excited about.
So, K. Luke was kind enough to send these samples out to us. We have a bourbon, a toasted, and a finish. Yep. And I already forget the I think this is like a batch 2. Oh, wait. Actually, they're on the back. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'm already...
Yeah, that one is
actually
the Keenan Cab Reserve. That's a 2024 release. So
I think that's the batch 2 of it. This is the batch 11 bourbon, and then this is the batch 4 of toasted. I've actually heard really good things about the toasted, but I've never had the toasted.
Yeah.
So.
I've not had a K. Luke since like K. Luke number... What was that one? That
5 or 6.
Yeah.
That was given to us.
Yes. Yeah.
Something. I can't remember. But anyways, before we start, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notifications, and check us out on Patreon and all the other fun stuff everywhere.
Yeah, and do appreciate K. Luke sending us this. So we're always appreciative. And again, we always want to tell you when we get something that somebody sends to us. Mm-hmm. We just appreciate that. Appreciate that you want to hear our opinions of it as well. So sure, I think that becomes the biggest compliment of it all is that you want to hear what we think about your bourbon. And so, Jonathan, we're going to hopefully give you good news today.
Yeah, I don't know. We literally haven't tried any of it. The only thing I've done, so I opened it up. I've opened it up twice. I've let it kind of breathe twice.
Yeah.
And every time I went to go pour it, I got a phone call.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was my kid that fell or what happened, but...
Sounded like crayons.
Sounded heavy.
Sounded like crayons.
Hopefully it wasn't my kid. But what was I getting ready to say? Oh, every time I went... So I opened all 3 of them, and I went to go pour in all 3 of them just, to try them and let them open up. And every time it happened, I got phone calls. Got phone calls from Rob. Got phone calls from Ron. I think you called me back one time. Work called me. Like everybody was calling me. I think my own mother called me one time. So never got around to it.
All right. I don't know why I did it that way, but I did. No, I did it right. Never mind. I did it right.
While you're pouring, I'll let you go ahead do you want to go ahead and pour these and I'll talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, that's cool.
So really quick, they were very kind. They sent us some paperwork over it. But a couple of important things I do want to point out. Basically, they are on the shelves in Alabama, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee, Wyoming. And then they're online at Sealbox, Share Pour, Taste Select, Repeat.com. So even if you don't have it in your area or, certain states don't ship wherever we hear all about that this past week.
Yeah.
Then you can hopefully find it somewhere online or in the state that you're located in. So, which is always nice.
Yes. Always nice. All right, so we have poured them all. We'll let that sit for a second. We are going to review we're going to do the silver one first. This is the what do they call it? The high and low rye. Is that what they call it?
I think it's the high rye, low rye blend.
Yeah,
small batch bourbon, barrel strength.
It's 100. Comes in at 120 proof. It is.
I believe it's a blend of Kentucky and Indiana, because I'll tell you right now, on the nose, if that's not Indiana, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I feel like everything they said is basically blended from Kentucky and Indiana. So
yeah, I think so.
The Indiana, you can assume what it is.
Yeah.
And then the Kentucky, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they know, but they did not tell us. They just said Kentucky and Indiana. So you can take your guess of where that might be.
Does it say how much Yeah, so the bottles in this batch is 1,626 bottles. It's a 10-barrel blend, and it's non-chill filtered.
Yeah.
And the price for this is $115 per.
Yeah. It's suggested retail, $115. All right, I mean, right away, like, you get this appley kind of fruity note to the nose.
Oh, it's that one. I was like, where is that?
Yeah, well, when you got 3 of them, we should
I was
almost.
like, why does that?
You know what we need to invest in? The little caps.
I like to let them breathe.
I like to let them breathe too, but when you're trying not to sniff and mess with your other sniffers. Yeah, this one's got it's like a fruit cocktail of sorts.
Very, man, I'm trying to think of it's almost like if you had some kind of like custard or raspberry pie like combo.
Yeah.
With that pie crust.
Yeah.
Very fresh baked. I don't know what a custard pie would look like.
It's got a little bit of ethanol to it.
A little bit.
That's kind of prevalent. You just kind of got to get past that a little bit.
Man, it just screams though that it's MGP or at least Indiana like whiskey on there, and I don't know if it is or isn't. Like again, I think it's a fair guess to say it would be, but I don't know. But I love that on the nose. Like it's just it almost, and I don't know the age of any of these blends. I'm guessing they're probably not super young, but I'm also guessing they're not super old.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, this comes off as like a little bit of a dusty nose.
Yeah, I could see it. You figure probably in that 5 to 7 year range, I would guess.
Probably fair guess.
Yeah, I would guess. That same as that like Green River, those Green River things that we've kind of had a chance to.
Peach cobbler on there now.
Yeah, the peach, like right at the end of once you get past the ethanol smell, that peach is like the lingering back end of the nose. That's really
it. Here's what's crazy. It's sweet, but it's not like overly sweet. You get some oak sugars on that, but then you also get like a really nice cake note on there, like a real like. I don't want to say a super sweet cake. I don't know what those are technically called. Like almost like a cake with coffee. You would have no coffee notes, nothing like that, but like some kind of cake that would go and pair with that really well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel like there's a lot of baking spice in that, but not in a bad way at all. It just has a spice right at the front end of that. And it is, to me, I think it gets a little vanilla-y on the back side of the palate there. And again, not in a bad way at all.
Oh, that's my jam.
But it's also not drinking like 120 proof.
No, not at all.
The spice is not like a heat spice. It's just kind of a baking, like.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
This reminds me of a younger version / more oaked version of Four Roses OESO. Because you get some really nice spice in there, but you get some red fruit that really pop on the palate on that. Man, that is really good. I really like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
And you also start getting on the finish side of that, you start getting some real dark fruits on that. I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, that's good. Something tells me the next two are going to be less your jam than.
Well, I like a good toasted.
You do like
finish. It's always up in the air.
Yeah,
I'm typically not a big finish guy, so that's always like a big thing for me.
Yeah,
man, that is like so. I know I've had some other K-Lukes before. That drink's very unique to like the one that I own, to a couple of the other ones I've had. Mm-hmm. I really dig that though.
Yeah. Ooh.
You sure you got the right one? I'm still loving on the
I know, but we got a review. Try to move him on. He's like, oh, I love this one. I can't do it. Can't go on. You got to go on.
I didn't know Dave was going to crack the whip on something.
Every once in a while, you got to. We do have 3 of them to review, so.
All right, so this is the toasted barrel bourbon. The total batch yielded 1,743 bottles. It's a 10-barrel blend finished just under 3 months in 7 Kelvin barrels, 5 medium toast, and 2 heavy toast barrels. This is non-chill filtered at 120 proof.
We always like a good Kelvin barrel.
I mean, I would argue that they're.
Now, see, there was like a smell there, but then the toast really comes out like on second smell. There's like a really buttery kind of smell to the front end of it, and then you get the toasted on the back end.
Great observation on the buttery note.
That's what threw me off because, like, after smelling this one, it's such a stark difference to this that it really stands out. That toast really, really pops on it. The charred kind of toasty smell to it.
So think of like a fair donut, like a donut you would get like Kentucky State Fair, Harvest Homecoming, something like that. Harvest Homecoming Festival, anyway. Think of like a raspberry jam on there, a dark cherry jam on there. Bam, that's that donut.
But the more you smell this, the more the toasted comes out. Like,
I agree.
The more it just kind of continues to waft and hit you in your face.
But it's a different kind of toasted. Don't think of it like chocolate, marshmallow, stuff like that. It's almost more like baking goods.
Yes. It smells good.
It does smell good.
It smells really good. It smelled weird the first time I smelled it because it was so different smelling from that one. And when I'm smelling, like if we're reviewing 3 of the same kind of company, I always feel like it's going to have some sort of general...
Man, it doesn't smell like a Fig Newton, but there's a cookie with like some kind of fruit jam, whatever on there, I can't think of.
You know what? It actually kind of has a little bit of the vanilla Oreo smell to it. Right at the end.
Not bad. Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. There is no way that is 100. Okay, this is 100. This is 118 proof.
It's still
118.4.
It's still neither one of these have drank like they're almost right around 120 proof.
That doesn't drink anything like 118 proof. That's crazy.
I think this gets all the things that you expect a toasted to be. You get that campfire-y feel on the palate. A little bit of, again, that one's got a little bit of that spice in there too. And the char, like the charred and the oak and stuff, like all that is prevalent in that, which is what you want. I think if I'm drinking a toasted, I want to feel like I'm drinking a toasted. Yeah. That's why I kind of like that barrel strength toasted from Michter's, and you were kind of like, but I think it was more the flavor.
This crushes that Michter's.
Oh yeah, it's way better.
Gingerbread cookie that you then can dip in a combination of like vanilla cream and caramel.
Yeah,
like. Man, and it's like fresh, like gingerbread cookie, like soft, warm, and it hits all those notes.
It's good. It's got a good finish to it.
Baking spice. I will say, for somebody, like, I love a good toasted product. Like, I really think of like Elijah Craig toasted, that Heaven Hill Select toast I have back there, stuff like that. This drink's very different than that. Like, whenever you think of like a lot of chocolates and stuff like that, I don't get a ton of that on this at all. But you do get a ton of baking good on there, like baking like goods, like your cookies, your cakes almost, stuff like that. You just kind of donut.
It almost feels like if somebody was had a wood fire bakery.
Yeah, kind of.
Like that you were just making stuff
like an outdoor,
an open fire kind of bakery kind of feel to it. It hits it in all the good ways too. I would say this is worth getting too.
And this is very different than most toasted. So like you don't feel like you're buying like the same thing over again.
Yeah, this has a very unique flavor to it. Good. All right.
By the way,
I think the toasted is like 139, or no? That's the Cabernet.
Yeah,
the Cabernet.
I don't see a price.
I don't see a price. It's probably somewhere close to the same price as the bourbon. All right, this is the Keenan Cab Reserve, 2024. This was bottled in November of last year. It almost seems muted after smelling the toasted one.
It kind of does in a way.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just maybe we should have saved the toasted for the last.
Really quick on this one. Total batch size of this is 1,364 bottles. It's a 10-barrel blend filled 8 freshly emptied Cabernet something barrels. Only 6 bottled in the small batch blend, non-chill filtered at 117.4 proof. So I wonder what that means. Are they holding some of those barrels back then? Maybe.
Maybe.
Be interesting.
There's a little bit of a grape note in here right at the end of the nose.
Oh yeah, if you coat this, you start getting a lot more. Oh, that's a ton of fruit on there. It's like a fruit salad. I agree with you on the grape.
Yeah.
Almost like an artificial grape, like Kool-Aid grape.
Yeah, I could see that.
Kind of reminds me of a Kool-Aid suicide mixture there.
Yeah.
Like a cherry strawberry grape.
Yep. All right, no, I mean, all these noses have been pretty good. This has been the least nose, but maybe it's because these two had stronger nose to them. Yeah, again, it's got a spice forward, right? Like just right at the middle of my tongue, there's just this spice that hits on it.
Definitely getting the influence of the Chardonnay on that one.
The Cabernet.
Or Cabernet. Gosh, yeah. I'm sorry. Cabernet.
It's okay.
It does a really good job coating.
Yeah.
It's oily.
Yep.
It's not overpowering, but I feel like that just rides out that palate.
And if you, to me, like this one is way more, like the spice forwardness of this one, I think overrides everything too. Like
see, I don't get as much spice on this.
Really, it's not like it's just sharp on the front of my tongue. Like it's just a sharpness to it that you don't get on either one of these. There's a bit of spice mid to end palate on this one. This one just seems like it's very front end, but there's like a good fruit, like a good fruit on the back end of it. That
there is. You definitely get a lot. I think where the wine influence of all this is really on the finish, on the back end of the palate. Like I really feel like you're almost drinking it to the point of that.
Very much so. That does feel like you're drinking a Cabernet right at the end of it.
Right at the end of it, yeah. It's sweet. It's still really fruity. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a gusher, almost like with the fruit part of that.
Yeah.
It's not quite like sweet like candy, but like if you had like a real dulled down like version of like a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Grape, maybe cherry, stuff like that. It would be something like that.
To me, this one drinks the most proofy for whatever reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For whatever this is doing to my palate, this drinks the most proofy to me.
Fair.
But it still doesn't drink it's still not overly proofy. It's just, maybe it's the front end spice that's hitting my palate the way it is that makes it feel a little more proofy. But
I still think the first one's still the most proofy. I just went back to it really quick.
Yeah, I want to take a sip and then go back to it.
But
these are, I mean, these are 3 fantastic. This is like $139 because this is a special release of theirs. Like it's not like a.
I think for sure the bourbon's a buy. I think for sure the toasted's a buy. If you are really into wine, I think you're going to love this. I think this is right up your alley. Like I'm not a wine guy at all. I still enjoy it, but here's what I would say. I would still want to try it before I'd buy it. But this is still really good. Like I think all of these are really good.
Yeah.
I think this bourbon's like exceptional.
Yeah, the bourbon bourbon and the toasted are, to me, above this, but I do like, I've kind of grown in liking wine in the last year. this is really good. And again, I think you are correct. If you like wine, the finish of this, the back end of the palate and the finish of this is very. It just has a good wine.
I think what I'm gonna do is too, like my wife who does not like bourbon whatsoever. I feel like if I put some water in this, water it down a little bit, I wonder if she would like it.
I bet she would.
But I bet she would. All right, so that's everything we got. So let us know in the comments below if you guys have tried K. Luke or anything else like that.
That bourbon is
right?
good. That bourbon is really
I'm
good.
going to have to get one of those for end of the year.
Listen, Jonathan, you and your wife killed it. Like you all are doing good work there at K. Luke, and keep it up. We appreciate it again. Thank you for sending it to us. And if you can get this, I would say buy, try. And I think you'll be happy with what you did. So, till next time.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.